Utility poles ripped to the ground, blocking an entire road, plus downed trees and flooding. Our team is showing you the heavy damage statewide caused by today's wild storms.
And we said we have to get out of here. And we looked at the front door and saw that we couldn't get out.
Legal concerns raised over deleted text messages.
If someone willfully deletes a public record, it's a crime.
The laws the state school system may have broken, as Fox 45 News Project Baltimore presses for answers. A chilling discovery. A mother of 5 is found dead on a public trail. We press police on the investigation as neighbors voice their concerns.
You can't even go out for a walk on a trail without losing your life.
A new high-paying crisis management job approved by the City Council.
This is an irresponsible expenditure of taxpayer money.
Why one expert says this will be a burden on your taxpayer dollars for years.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 10.
Stunning scenes tonight in Carroll County as a powerful storm ripped through our area.
High winds level the rural utility poles on Route 140 in Westminster. That damage shut the road down in both directions and left drivers stuck.
Those poles, each weighing thousands of pounds, a major hazard as they came crashing to the ground.
Power outages are a lingering concern across the state. More than 82,000 people still don't have power.
This is the scene in Lutherville, completely in the dark for most of the evening. We'll keep you updated on those numbers throughout the night. Now, much of our area has a lot of cleaning up to do. There are several trees down all across the state. You're looking at Bel Air on the top left of your screen and Rock State Park on the right.
And it seems the storm moved out as quickly as it moved into the area. Cleanup, however, won't happen that quickly. But guess what? A little bit of a silver lining as a double rainbow was left behind. Good evening. I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Mary Bubala. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Jonathan Myers with the conditions out there right now. Jonathan?
Yeah, Kai and Mary, some wild video, wild pictures. Probably best to stay inside this evening and tonight if you can, because of the fact that still probably have some lines down, trees down, limbs down, power poles down. And it's hard to see that stuff as you're heading out in the overnight hours. But here's some of the damage. Manchester, Carroll County, some trees down on cars. Lots of problems all across the area. Here's another round that happened right around Manchester. More trees down, and then right around that Westminster area. This is where we had those power poles down. In fact, multiple injuries reported here, at least 2 injuries I saw. And down, again, really Carroll County, kind of the jackpot of all this damage. A big line of cells here. Even there was a tornado warning with some of this. Don't believe we had a tornado here, but of course, if there is that potential, they will do a damage survey. But also Maryland 97 utility poles here down. And then one more report, Carroll County, right around the community college, getting some trees damaged in that area. And then even northern Baltimore County getting hammered as well. But the rain, the storms beginning to move out. And it looks like as we head into the overnight hours, finally cleanup time sets up. I'm going to let you know how long we hold on to the drier weather in my Weather Authority forecast.
Jonathan, thank you. Down trees and utility poles leading to dangerous conditions across the area. In fact, we saw power lines tangled in traffic lights, in trees, and on top of cars.
And thankfully, no one is hurt after a tree fell onto moving traffic in Baltimore County. We heard from somebody, though, stuck in that traffic who says she is happy everybody in her car was okay.
The whole back window was totally shattered. His car just totally totaled. All he got was like glass all over his body and his hair. He was very traumatized and upset, but he's all right now. It was a blessing that everybody was saved.
Yeah, it's a blessing indeed. Well, down trees is also having an impact in Harford County this evening.
Fox 45's Keith Daniels joins us live with the storm's aftermath in Bel Air. Keith?
Well, Mary and Kai, they say it was a fast-moving storm, but it was in this neighborhood long enough to do some serious damage. Take a look over here. A car, that's a car there, a tree crashed through the windshield of this car. Now look up here to the right there. A tree crashed through the roof. Now the people who live in this home, they own the car and they own this home. And tonight, a couple's close call. The damage on Glendale Lane in Bel Air, a townhome with a tree on top, crashed through the roof.
We saw half of the roof collapsed that was on the floor of the spare bedroom.
Phil Pasquale and his wife Letty were inside the house. The husband in the kitchen, his wife in the living room. The storm, quick and loud.
And instantly, we heard the tree come down on the house.
Pasquale called out to his wife. Both frightened, both tried getting out of their home. But there was a problem.
We couldn't get out the front door,
Because the tree?
Oh yeah, the tree was totally blocking it. We were pretty much trapped.
The back door also blocked. As the couple looked for a way out, next door, a neighbor, Amy Lukart,
The boom and just how close it was the scariest thing.
saw the fallen tree and the couple's car parked outside. She knew Pasquale and his wife were inside that house, but did not know
If they were injured or, trapped in the house and couldn't get out, there was tense moments. My husband ran over there, all the neighbors ran.
Amy called 911. Firefighters arrived. Crews cleared the way for the couple.
The fire department, I think they moved some trees or did something so that we were able to get out around the back. Thank you, God. It could have been a lot worse. We could have been standing in the wrong place.
At the wrong time.
At the wrong time.
Well, we are back here live now. Fortunately, no one was hurt and no one, he says, taken to the hospital. Meantime, the couple will be staying with family members until they can get things cleaned up here. Well, live now in Bel Air, Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
Keith, thank you. This severe weather is impacting our area in a variety of ways. Here's a look at damage in Carroll County. Tree branches and debris all over the place. In fact, Jonathan said it's kind of like ground zero for a lot of that damage tonight, even taking roofs off a shed.
Heavy flooding on roadways across our area. This was a scene near Ruxton Road in Baltimore County. Police set flares in part of the area, reminding drivers to avoid this standing water. You never know how deep that water actually is.
Parts of Frederick County even saw some of the hail this afternoon. This video is from Michelle Rogers on Twitter, showing her deck being pelted with ice.
And we want to show you some of the hazards caused by those downed power lines, an exploding transformer and tree catching on fire, both sent to us on Chime In. And this was the scene in Westminster. First responders working hard to avoid a hazard when the power lines went down just before 5 o'clock. It happened very fast. It's not clear if anyone was hurt. Fox 45 News is working to find out more about that. Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor was on the scene with live coverage all afternoon and spoke to witnesses about what they saw unfold.
Shocked and shaken.
It was crazy. Insanity.
A fast and furious storm blindsiding Westminster residents and bulldozing a major highway.
We just hear our coworkers yelling about the power lines going down.
All of a sudden, power was lost.
Despite ripping through the region in a matter of minutes,
There was just, she was there and it wasn't.
the damage left behind, leaving onlookers in awe.
I've never seen something like this.
It's dramatic to see this much of 140 be affected.
Cell phone video capturing the moment straight line winds, toppling dozens of telephone poles and pulling down power lines stretching clear across 140. A dangerous scene for drivers trapped under the lines and some even experiencing close calls beneath the poles. Among the businesses blocked off by the damage, a vet clinic and a dental office.
We saw there was sparks as the telephone poles hit the ground.
We had a car right in front of our clinic that was trapped by a power line.
Both say all pets and patients are safe, but the chaos causing some drivers to seek shelter inside their offices.
They were just very shooken up.
They were frightened because the wires, fell right on the truck.
Kept in the dark and stranded. Residents now patiently waiting until cleanup crews deem the streets safe and clear.
Say at least tomorrow afternoon.
Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
And remember, anytime severe weather hits, you can have the forecast right at your fingertips. Download the Weather Authority app to search for WBFF in your app store and stay with Fox 45 News. Our severe weather coverage will continue on Fox 45 Morning News starting at 4:30.
Chilling details are unfolding in Harford County after the suspected body of 37-year-old Rachel Morin was discovered on the Mon Pa Trail Sunday afternoon.
Harford County Police racing to track down potential suspects in this shocking act of violence.
I wish I was in a position to stand here and say that we have a suspect, that we know that this was a targeted thing. Not that that's a good thing, but that at least the rest of the community is not at threat, and I cannot say that.
Morin's body found in an area where many people have felt a sense of safety for years.
And tonight, the search for killer is on. Fox 45's Amy Simpson has the latest developments in the investigation.
Deputies on ATVs at this entrance to Bel Air's Ma and Pa Trail today. One day after the suspected body of 37-year-old Rachel Morin was found by a walker just off the trail.
Hopefully, that we can bring this case to a resolution, but through to try to alleviate some of the concerns our community members have.
What was originally a missing persons case, now an active homicide investigation. The sheriff today calling it a heinous crime, but unable to say if this killing was targeted or random.
No, from what information we have, we're not comfortable making any assertion either way. So, as far as the community is concerned, they should be cautious.
A GoFundMe created by the victim's sister, raising funeral funds for the 37-year-old mother of 5 and calling for justice for this grieving family. Today, the sheriff acknowledging the widespread attention of this case and the online chatter.
There's a lot of speculation. The detectives have the facts. Let them work the facts, and again, hopefully we can narrow it down to a suspect and then bring charges against them.
But while the sheriff says there are no suspects, the victim's boyfriend taking to social media, appearing to proclaim his innocence. This post from last week announcing a relationship between Richard Tobin and Rachel Morin. The post garnering hundreds of comments and speculation about the homicide. The suspected boyfriend weighing in. "I love Rachel." He commented within the last 24 hours. "I would never do anything to her. Let the family and I grieve. Yes, I have a past, but I also have 15 months clean and have changed as a person. Please." Court records show a Bel Air man by the same name has faced domestic violence accusations in a previous relationship. Today, Fox 45 News directly asking the sheriff about the victim's boyfriend.
He was the initial complainant. Rachel's boyfriend was the complainant who reported the missing person. So obviously our personnel have spoken with him. But, we are not in a position to say he's a suspect or that any person is a suspect.
This unusual and grisly crime prompting one Bel Air woman to carry mace today.
Me and my girlfriend were going to take a walk on the trail. We normally do this on Mondays, so this is our normal routine.
Upping her vigilance on a trail she uses regularly.
I was here Saturday, the day that she went missing, and I was here at 2 o'clock with my husband. The trail was packed. There was a lot of people here. There were dogs. There were a lot of girls walking by themselves.
You hate to hear of anything to happen to anyone, but to a woman, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I mean, you can't even go out for a walk on a trail without losing your life.
This walker not questioning his safety with police nearby, but closely watching for an arrest.
I just hope they find them, and fast.
Amy Simpson, Fox 45 News.
Well, we are still waiting for the medical examiner to confirm the identity of the victim. Harford County Sheriff Jeffrey Gaylor told Fox 45 News he wouldn't give details since police are still early in the investigation, but he is confident this is Rachel Morin. And Fox 45 News will continue to follow this developing story in the coming days. For complete coverage, head to foxbaltimore.com.
Coming up on Fox 45 News at 10 o'clock tonight, our coverage of today's severe weather continues around Maryland. We introduce you to one homeowner whose house was damaged by a fallen tree and how she's finding that silver lining. Well, the city approves a new position in the mayor's office for more than $200,000. What it is and why some say it's a waste of taxpayer dollars. Also ahead, legal concerns over deleted text messages within the State Department of Education. Project Baltimore is pressing leaders for answers.
Did a state agency violate Maryland law by deleting public records?
As Project Baltimore's Chris Papps explains, the answers we are getting from state officials raise new questions.
The Maryland Public Information Act is a state law giving the public access to public records so we can see what our government is doing. Attorney Scott Martyr believes
I am very concerned right now.
What the Maryland State Department of Education is doing under Superintendent Mohammed Chaudhry may violate the law. Project Baltimore last week first reported on the existence of these 98 text messages, metadata we received through a public records request. The texts were sent or received by Superintendent Chaudhry from January to March of this year. At that time, FOX45 had exposed 23 schools in Baltimore City where 0 students who took the state test in 2022 scored proficient in math. Following our reporting, the state decided to change how it reports test scores to the public. These text messages could give the public more insight into why its government made that decision. But it appears we'll never know.
I am concerned that this is a violation of state law.
In an email on Friday, MSDE told Project Baltimore the metadata of text messages provided is all that our Office of Information Technology could retrieve due to storage limitations. In other words, these 98 text messages were deleted.
The cell phone issued to Mohammed Chaudhry by MSDE is a government cell phone that's supposed to be used for government business. So I'm troubled by the fact that MSDE says that they had to delete because of storage issues. I find that troubling.
Project Baltimore originally filed our public records request on April 10th. We can see in the metadata that the final text message received by the state superintendent relating to our request came in on March 22nd. So what MSDE is saying is that the cell phone issued to the state superintendent doesn't have the storage capacity to keep text messages for 19 days.
His cell phone should be more than sufficient to be able to keep a lot of text messages on there. We deal with electronic discovery in cases all the time, and we see text messages going back many, many years on phones. That's very common.
According to state law, it's a misdemeanor to willfully violate the Maryland Public Information Act, punishable by imprisonment up to 3 years, a fine of $1,000, or both. The law clearly says a person cannot destroy, remove, or conceal a public record. And the term public record would also include, for instance, text messages and other electronic communications. So we sent an email back to the state asking for the specific storage limitations that prevented MSDE from retaining those text messages. We also asked for MSDE to explain how your agency's failure to retain these text messages complies with Maryland law, a law designed to ensure public records are available to taxpayers.
If someone willfully deletes a public record, it's a crime, and they can go to jail for up to 3 years. So it's a very serious violation of the law here in Maryland if that was done.
This story is far from over. Last week, we also showed you this email, which we requested that MSDE fully redacted. Once we received this email, we asked the state for more clarification as to why it was blacked out. Shortly after, MSDE unredacted sections of it, and we will show you those sections in the coming days. I'm Chris Papps, and this is Project Baltimore.
Coming up, our weather alert coverage continues as we're monitoring storm damage around the region. A Pikesville woman describes the devastation to her home of 35 years.
Trump's legal woes looming large over 2024. So will this be the courtroom campaign? I'm Christine Frizzell in Washington with that story ahead.
And rain and thunderstorms on the exit. And guess what's coming in? Some really nice cleanup weather for tomorrow. No chance of rain. Sight for sore eyes, breezy, less humid. Mid to upper 80s. And take a look. The dew point, the measure of moisture in there, the stuff that felt so bad today, so sticky, so steamy, and caused all the storms, well, that all drops off into the much more comfortable range for Tuesday, Wednesday. Although the muggies do come back, I'll let you know if it comes with more chances of rain and storms. The 7-day forecast and my Weather Authority forecast.
And as we head to break, a live look over the Inner Harbor tonight, calm after that storm rolled through earlier. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Let's take another look right now at that BGE power outage map. 79,000 customers are without power, according to BGE, after severe storms rolled through this evening. In fact, at one point, nearly 100,000 were out in the dark. Now, those storms did create scenes like this one all around the area. This happened in Pikesville. Take a look at this. Ellen Sugar lived in this house since 1988. The tree damaged her house so badly she can't live in it right now. Her neighbor's house was also damaged. Listen to how she describes the moment that tree fell.
I heard a loud noise, I mean really loud. I looked down and saw everything everywhere, and then I didn't realize anything else had happened, and my neighbor called me and she said, "Oh my God, your house is like, you have a big hole in your room." So yeah, that's what happened. It was scary because it was so loud.
Well, fortunately, no one was hurt. Ellen is staying with her son for the time being. She tells Fox 45 News she's looking at the bright side and is happy she'll finally be able to get a new roof.
Well, new tonight, former President Donald Trump's team is disputing evidence restrictions in his election interference case, citing First Amendment rights, including Trump's ability to post about the trial on social media.
The defense argues Trump needs relaxed rules to properly defend himself, while prosecutors want more restrictions in order to protect witnesses. National correspondent Christine Frizzell has the story.
It's become a media landscape like no other.
A federal grand jury has voted to indict the former president,
charged with attempting to remain in power even when he knew he had lost the election.
It's the third time he's been indicted on criminal charges since leaving the White House.
A single story dominating the news cycle that even Donald Trump himself seems to want to remain.
Every time they file an indictment, we go way up in the polls. We need one more indictment to close out this election.
The election also playing out in Iowa, where 2024 GOP presidential candidates gathered to little fanfare and little interest in their policy proposals, instead fielding countless questions about the former president, most doing that delicate dance of not wanting to alienate Trump voters, but also trying to look ahead.
If, on the other hand, the election is not about January 20th, 2025, but January 6th, 2021, or what document was left by the toilet at Mar-a-Lago, if it's a referendum on that, we are going to lose.
January 6th and Donald Trump's alleged role in it will for now loom large over the national debate. One point of contention, U.S. District Court Judge Tanya Chutkan, known for issuing higher sentences to convicted January 6th rioters than even prosecutors had asked for, telling one rioter that he did not go to the United States Capitol out of any love for our country. He went for one man. In a post on Truth Social, Trump called Judge Chutkan Jack Smith's #1 draft pick, the judge of his dreams. Looking ahead, any day now, we are expecting a fourth indictment to be issued against former President Donald Trump for allegedly trying to overturn the 2020 presidential election in the state of Georgia. In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzell.
Well, coming up after the break, Mayor Brandon Scott looking to expand his communications staff. Why some critics are questioning the timing.
Plus, crews across the state are picking up the pieces following the severe storms that hit this evening. How residents describe the wicked conditions. Our coverage of today's severe weather continues at 10:30. Nearly 100,000 people without power at one point. Right now, we're told that number is about 79,000. You're taking a look right now at video from Lutherville on the left side of your screen. That neighborhood is one of many still in the dark, but there's no word on when they'll get power back.
Plus, this was the scene along Maryland 140 in Westminster this afternoon. The storm's high winds snapped power poles. They came crashing down onto the roadway. We just heard from Maryland State Police who say 33 adults and 14 children are trapped in their cars right now because BGE is still working to cut power to the lines. Police say they've been getting water to those stuck in their cars. No one else is hurt. Of course, the live wire is so dangerous. This stretch of 140 will be closed for a while. No word on when it will reopen.
And right now we're following three other big stories at 10:30. A triple shooting in East Baltimore contributing to a violent weekend across the city. Why one neighbor is directing his frustration at Baltimore police.
A city homeowner is evicted from her house over a water bill. Why, she says the unpaid bill should be the city's responsibility.
And a job opening at City Hall designed to handle crisis communication, but some taxpayer advocates are questioning the timing of the job posting. And with just months to go before the end of the mayor's term in office, he's getting the green light to beef up his communications staff.
And it is raising questions tonight. Fox 45's Jeff Abel joins us live with an explanation. Jeff?
Well, the mayor has asked for and has now received the green light to add another spokesperson to his office. And for taxpayers, it is not going to be cheap.
At City Hall, the place with some of the greatest turnover is right here at the mayor's office, where the communications team has whipped through 6 directors in 3 years. And now the mayor is preparing to expand.
This is an item for the Department of Human Resources on behalf of the mayor's office.
Last month, the mayor asked the city's Board of Estimates to approve funding for another communications director at his office. According to the job description, that director would oversee the current communications staff and ensure all levels of city communications are promoting key mayoral priorities. Originally, the mayor had asked for $242,000 to fund the position, but it wasn't immediately approved until last week when funding for the position fell to $207,000.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The routine agenda has been adopted.
It appears as if that they're hiring a PR person a year before a mayoral election, which really needs to be scrutinized.
Taxpayer advocate David Williams is questioning the need for the $207,000 position.
Politicians are more worried about their image, it seems, than actually getting things done. And this is not a crisis in communication. This is a crisis in public safety and education and infrastructure and drinking water and cleanliness. That's what the mayor needs to realize is this money could go towards all of those issues rather than a PR person that's going to help communicate that there are problems in Baltimore City.
For the longest time, the mayor has defended how he communicated problems, from curfew enforcement this summer to the water contamination issues last fall.
They said that we followed their protocols to a T.
The state later disagreed, but now the mayor, who controls the majority of votes on the Board of Estimates, has the green light for the new position. One Williams predicts will burden taxpayers for years.
You are establishing a very bad precedent for the city that the taxpayers are going to be on the hook for, not only this year, but for years to come.
And if that new director is paid top dollar, then the mayor's new spokesperson will actually be making more money than the mayor himself. We're live tonight. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
Jeff, thank you. Well, violent crime numbers are down from last year, but an alarming number of children are being shot and killed in the city. Another teen lost their life this weekend. And in an East Baltimore triple shooting, a 19-year-old is still fighting for his life. The other 2 victims, a mother and her 7-year-old son. Witnesses say the family was sitting outside when somebody drove by and shot them from their car. Neighbors are frustrated, saying drugs and guns have created a violent atmosphere in their neighborhood.
It's pathetic, man. Like I said, the police need to step their game up. They need to start doing more around here. They need to put that mobile police station around here, put some lights around here or something, or make this a drug-free area.
Police say they're still searching for a motive. Anybody with information on potential suspects asked to call Metro Crime Stoppers.
Young people in the Baltimore area are not just becoming victims of crime. In some cases, they're suspects, too. In Anne Arundel County last week, more than a dozen young people were arrested for a series of crimes involving stolen cars. Some of them just 11 and 12 years old, too young to be charged. And Maryland's juvenile justice reform law prevents children 13 and under from being charged with most crimes. Critics of the state's juvenile justice laws take issue with the Child Interrogation Protection Act. That stops law enforcement from speaking with any child until that child has spoken with an attorney. Unlike an adult, a juvenile can't waive that right. Fox 45 News has heard from a number of prosecutors and law enforcement officers who say the laws leave their hands tied.
I think without question, over the last several years, the General Assembly has changed a number of the laws that deal with juvenile crime. And I think that's certainly led to some problems.
They have hampered us by not allowing us to actually interview juveniles to question them about the crimes that they've committed or the individuals that they've committed the crimes with. And this has hampered investigations along the way and has not kept this community safe as a result.
A group of state lawmakers will hold committee meetings next month to talk about how the juvenile justice laws impact juvenile crime. It's important to note this is not a special legislative session, and lawmakers will not be able to take any action to change current laws or even introduce new ones. Fox 45 News has pressed the governor about whether a special session is necessary to address the problem. He says it won't happen. And we've been asking you what you think. Should elected leaders prioritize laws that protect criminals or the public? 98% of voters say the public. That brings us to our question of the day. Would you support officials who demand lawmakers pass tougher crime legislation? Polls just open. Head to foxbaltimore.com/vote to weigh in.
Amid this rise in juvenile violence, acting Baltimore Police Commissioner Richard Worley is set to hold his first public meeting where residents can voice their concerns about public safety. It's scheduled for tomorrow morning. The acting commissioner is already facing criticism for the Brooklyn Day mass shooting. It's been more than a month since 2 people were killed and 28 others were shot. No arrests have been made. Worley has admitted the department made mistakes in its response. Mayor Scott chose the commissioner without a public search, something the Baltimore City NAACP didn't like. He addressed those concerns during a city council hearing on the response to the shooting.
This incident, we told you guys this incident was going to happen when we had our last press conference. This is why you need community engagement on the front end before you bring in a police commissioner. So I hope that every member of this council is taking very seriously your responsibility to vet a police commissioner.
You can find more on those public meetings with Acting Commissioner Worley on our website, foxbaltimore.com/newslinks. A Baltimore mother is seeking permanent shelter for her family after she claims her home was taken in a tax sale over a water bill. Despite an emergency motion to halt the eviction today, Deanna Woodward and her 10-year-old son were forced to leave their home. Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor explains why Woodward says she was unfairly evicted.
A home filled with a lifetime of memories, paid off and passed down by Dina Woodward's parents.
I was born and raised in here.
Now sitting empty as Dina and her 10-year-old son face eviction.
I just don't understand how somebody is able to buy my house.
The city selling Woodward's home years ago without her knowledge. She claims it wasn't until a sheriff recently serving them an eviction notice she learned unpaid water bills dating back to 2018 had triggered a tax sale. Water bills she believes unfairly skyrocketed following a water main leak.
So when I went down there to make a payment plan, she told me $150 wasn't enough. Well, I don't even make $1,000 a month. What are you talking about?
Ultimately, the dispute never settled. So